Hello, everybody. Oh my goodness, what a week. What a week it has been for NBA 2K news. And all the fans of the game, everybody is in excitement mode, hype mode. Some people are in, not so hyped. They're actually kind of upset and discouraged by a lot of the news, but there's just so much to get into. And I want to make sure that everybody is educated and informed on everything that's been out this week for this week's edition of NBA 2K Podcast. I'm your host. You already know who I am. All right, so earlier in the week we had the W and MyNBA courtside reports and news here and there. So you may have already had a look at this. If you haven't, I will post a link to all of the courtside reports so you can have a read through them. There's a lot of goodies here in the W courtside report that fans of the mode are, in my opinion, going to be very happy with the upgrades from last year to this year. And then, of course, the MyNBA mode, which is a lot of people's favorites. It's one of those modes that you kind of get to play throughout the year. Because you don't have to use VC, and it's a lot of fun for people that like to see what can happen over the years as you go on. And I really like this, and I tweeted about the 2K Times, the newspaper. I'm a big fan of that immersion, to add. Basically, you'll get to watch like the news from your game. So like after a game, this will come out, and then you get to read I guess the highlights and lowlights of your games. Anyway, the links for all of this for this stuff, I will post in the descriptions of the podcast on Spotify or YouTube, wherever else you may be listening. Hopefully you can get your hands on these. So that was from earlier this week, and there's improvements on both the W and MyNBA. I'm not going to talk too much about that on this podcast. Because you kind of, if you know the modes, you have an idea of what they're about and what's new and what's not at this time, because it's already been out for a few days. And then, of course, yesterday we had the Mamba Moments. And again, this is one of those modes where you can kind of play throughout the year. And there's been a few people not so happy with this mode because they're, upset about the 81-point game not being around, their retirement game not being around. So I think it's 7 different Mamba Moments that you're going to get to play through. And I know LD from NBA 2K TV, he worked with the team on this one. He's a big-time Lakers fan, and I know Lakers Nation are going to be really excited to play that mode. So do give it a try if you're a Kobe fan, if you're a Lakers fan. They worked really hard on making sure that they had, even the most, the minute details of certain players and their accessories and the way they move. So Kobe biting his jersey, things like that. Those are all that's all in there to really give you, if you're old enough, a nostalgic look back at some of Kobe's greatest moments. But if you're young, it's also going to be really fun to play so that you can kind of understand, Kobe Bryant back in his heyday. And of course, the newest courtside report that literally released half an hour ago as I'm recording this podcast, the badges courtside report. Okay, and that's most of what this podcast is going to be about. Is going to be about the badges, y'all. Listen, there are 77 badges in total, 24 new ones, 77 in total, so it's not like there's over 100 badges like some people thought, because I did tweet about this as well, that they always rework some badges, they remove some, they edit some. So there's already people going crazy over this. There's a lot to go on. You lose progression. You lose progress. You lose batch progression. Okay, batch progression. It's not something you get to and then you're done. It's it's a it's a new thing. Okay, listen to me. Listen to me. You used to grind badges. Boom. That's it. Your account's done. You're good to go. You can play forever. Do whatever. Not worry about no more badges ever again. Ever. Well, that's gone now. That's gone. At least for this year, that's gone. So look, you're going to lose badge progression if you don't use the badge. Is that a bad thing? Maybe if you're like a comp head and you don't really want to, take into consideration the badge, how the badges work, and if you don't use them, whatever. But look, let's think about this from another angle. Let's say I get Claymore, which is still in the game. The Claymore badge is a badge that increases the ability to for you to knock down perimeter shots when spotting up. Okay, and I will, so you guys can look at this with me here. So look, successfully using a badge in games and drills will raise or maintain its level. Failing to use a badge eventually causes its level to drop. So what does this mean? If you have Claymore on Hall of Fame, you don't use it, it's going to drop all the way back to bronze. It will not go below bronze, so you'll always have the badge, but it will be at bronze level if you don't use it. I think this is freaking amazing for so many reasons. I am so, oh my God, I am so excited. This is insane. Whoever thought of this, whoever came up with this and brought it to the table and said, let's do it. I want to shout out your name. I don't know who it was, but maybe it was a team effort. This is amazing. Let me explain. So look, you can also, this is what you're looking at here is also a perk being applied, and there's a few different perks. You can see the red symbol here on the bunny one. You can see the blue one, which is the scholar perk, and you can see the yellow one. And I will talk about those in a minute. But so for one, badge grinders and whatnot, like people that spend money on other people on a service, basically, which is against terms of service with 2K, by the way. It's probably not gonna be as effective, right? People are not gonna be able to just buy builds with all the badges because you gotta work on the badges throughout the game. Another thing is, this is going to focus in on players having their own style, and if you stop using that style or you try to be like somebody else, your badges are going to change a little bit, right? And some builds, you're probably not going to have those badges to where, that you want to have, because you're going to make your build with a play style in mind, right? And you're not going to get every badge possible, which you kind of already can't do that anyway, but you can't have, you have to be even more careful this year because the badges are not permanent at Hall of Fame or gold or silver. To me, this is going to make the game more dynamic throughout the year. It's going to matter more. It's going to feel fresh a lot more because it's not going to be like you get to the max and that's it. And I think that's huge for a yearly game, which 2K is, a yearly game that, we all pretty much stop playing when the new one comes out. This is huge at keeping the game fresh and in my opinion, with the badge system. And speaking of fresh with the badge system, so this is what the perks are, okay? Overdrive, Immunity, Drill, Savant, and Scholar. So look at this. Scholar says Season 1. What could that mean? What could that mean? Well, Badge perks are prizes that provide various benefits to the progression of individual badges. The badge perks page consists of slots that the user can fill in when unlocked. There are 4 slots per perk, with each slot representing a different badge tier. A badge can only have 1 badge perk applied at a time. Here are the badge perks. So Overdrive, which is in the red, you can see right here in the red, increases the badge level progression in games. So, for example, there's catch and shoot in here, right? So you go into the game with the Overdrive perk on the catch and shoot badge, and the more catch and shoots you do, the quicker it'll rank up the badge, okay? Immunity, which is the yellow one right here, slows down badge level regression in games. So let's say you put immunity on limitless range and you don't use it, well, it's going to slow down the regression of the badge. Drill Savant is the green one here, increases badge level progression in team practice facility. So this is going to incentivize you to actually use the practice arena, to go into actual practice games with your NBA team, which I know a lot of people don't really give a crap about. But now there is an incentive. Maybe you want to take a break from online. Maybe you really, really want to grind your badges. Well, you use Drill Savant. And lastly, Scholar, which we've already kind of talked about. A risk-reward perk that gives a significant increase in badge level progression for player versus player games finished with a high teammate grade. However, here's the catch. You receive 0 progression for the badge if you don't finish with a high teammate grade. This is a rotational season prize, so that is why it says Season 1. So you already know you're going to get Scholar in Season 1. All right. Now, there's a few more. Let me explain. Winner's Circle. A risk-reward perk that gives an added bonus, an added boost in badge level progression for player versus player games that result in a win for the user. However, and here's the catch with this one, you will get 0 progression for the badge if you lose the game. And this is also a rotational season prize. So, I don't know yet. Don't ask me if it's free season or if it's one of the paid premium. I don't know yet. Don't ask me. We'll get through it. We're doing a podcast. We'll get through it together, guys. One more. It's called High Risk. A risk-reward perk increases your badge level progression for player versus player games with badge usage, but accelerated regression with lack of usage. This is a rotational season prize. So there's 3 different badge perks that are season rotational. All right, I had to pause the podcast there a little bit. I don't know if you heard, but one of my dogs wanted some pettings, so I went and did that a little bit. Let's talk about the next thing here, which is called a performance multiplier. Okay? Now, the thing about performance multiplier, unlike badge perks, provides benefits to all of your equipped badges at once, so long as challenges from the multipliers are met in their respective modes. Each of the 3 performance multipliers has 4 versions, the NBA, the City, the Rec, and Pro-Am, for a total of 12 multipliers. Now let's read a little bit into what these are. The Grade A Student, in Rec games, in games, so this says in games, but this says in Rec games here in the actual description. In games finished with the high teammate grade, badge level progression is accelerated for all equipped badges. Winner takes all. In games finished with the win, badge level progression is accelerated for all equipped badges. And lastly, up for the challenge, in games played against tough opponents, badge level progression is accelerated for all equipped badges. I wonder how that's going to work with the tough opponents thing. Is it like people higher overall, or uh, just higher win percentages? I don't know. This is kind of amazing how they completely reworked the badge system in a way that we've never seen, but also in a way that makes the game, to me, I think the game is going to feel fresh for a lot longer. Wow. Floor setters are powerful prizes that are earned via season XP. They're included with the free base pass each season. There's 18 of them in total, 9 for silver, 9 for gold. Adding a floor setter to a badge will prevent the badge from ever dropping below the listed badge level. Okay, so what this is going to do is this is going to incentivize people that play the game to play the game and finish out the battle passes. And I guess it's an amazing thing that you can play my team and my career and earn these things. You don't necessarily have to go in the rec. You can go my team, do your my team stuff, and you'll still get this. This is amazing. If your badge has not progressed to the level of floor setter, you will want to apply to it. Okay, if your badge has not progressed to the level of the floor setter you want to apply to it, it will auto-progress to that level. Of course, you need to have fulfilled the attribute requirement for the level. They are permanent and cannot be changed. If your player can progress beyond the listed floor setter badge level, they will not be prevented from doing so. Okay, so that's great. That is amazing. That is awesome. That is really, really awesome. Wow. So let's talk about another thing here that I wanted to mention. When you're making a build now, and I want to show you guys, and this one is actually not on the courtside report. I will have to actually go to Twitter for this one. And I will have to go to the NBA 2K page, and I will have to find one of their screenshots from earlier today. The only builder picture we have so far is this thing. Okay? This is how the builder is going to look in 2K24. New gen. So let's talk about this a little bit. So the My Career Builder has seen improvements, as you can clearly see if you're watching the podcast. You can create your custom My Player or start with an NBA player template, each with their own unique attributes. Some of you that know me and know my content and what I post or tweet about, you will know that I've been asking 2K for player templates so that players don't make mistakes making a build that then they go online and they can't really use because they don't watch YouTubers, they don't know the game very well. They end up making a build that they think is good. They go in the game, they find out it's not good. They spent real life money to make this build, and now the build's ruined, and that's it. I've been asking for templates, and now there are NBA player templates, which hopefully are viable. I'm not saying they have to be overpowered. They have to be viable so that, people that want to be like an NBA player, they can just press Steph Curry. They'll have a Steph Curry build, and they're good to go. Badges are divided into 4 tiers based on their power, with S tier badges being the best. You can see here on the side. Tier S, Tier A, Tier C, so forth. Your player's height determines tier assignments, and each badge has specific attribute requirements for unlocking it. Badge level progression has been revamped. Badge levels are determined by how often you use badges in games and how successful you are with them. Right. So your badge levels will trend towards your playstyle and usage, which we've talked about a little bit. The badge tiering system affects how quickly you gain and lose badges. C tier badges are easier to gain and to maintain. And higher tier badges, this is something we haven't talked about, but makes quite perfect sense. Higher tier badges are harder to gain and quicker to lose. So I wonder if there's going to be people trying to make just like C grade build badges so that they can just always have them. And they'll have like a crap ton of badges, but none of them will be Hall of Fame. I don't think that'll happen for a lot of people, but I love the freedom. There's a lot of freedom. It feels like there's a lot of freedom in how people are going to make their builds and whatnot. And speaking of freedom, and this is really important that I want to mention that it's in the courtside report at the very bottom of the courtside report. And I want you guys to read this with me because I don't want people to think that I'm lying here. At the very bottom here, okay, I'm going to highlight it. The enhanced My Player Builder and new badge system are designed to eliminate meta badge builds and make way for unique styles of gameplay. Right. People always say there's always going to be a meta. People have been saying this for many years and many years. There's always going to be a meta. Every game has a meta. There's always going to be a meta. Somebody in the 2K community is going to make a video. They have 1 million subscribers, so the video is going to pop off, and then everybody's going to start following everybody else, and there's a new meta, right? Well, apparently 2K is trying to eliminate meta badge builds. Now, of course, badges, dictate how your style of gameplay is, right? So they didn't exactly say eliminate meta builds, but they said it. They said it in a fancier way. Meta badge builds, but without the badges, you don't get the meta build anyway. So, look, this is incredible. This is exciting. I am super excited for everything that we have coming here. I really think this is the one, guys. This is a 2K that people are gonna have, 2,000 hours in, at least. I know 2K23, a lot of people stopped playing very early on, even though I liked it. It's one of my favorite 2Ks in recent time. I enjoyed 2K23, but I know a lot of people didn't. This is a big step up, man. This is a big step up. 24 is going to be incredible. But yeah, so that's the podcast. I think we've gone over all the goodies here. Now, I do want to tell you guys to go and have a look at Mike Wang's Twitter page. There's a lot of little goodies there. People ask questions, he answers. I can't get into everything on this podcast because I would have to go and scroll through everything and pick out which ones are worth sharing, which ones are not. I advise you guys, if you're interested, to go and do that. Don't forget that I do have a YouTube channel that has posts, also not daily, but almost daily, weekly YouTube shorts and whatnot. Trying to educate the peoples, and of course my Twitter page, which has been booming recently. Make sure to follow me on that, and I will see you guys on the next one.